Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Pokemon Battle League podcast, sponsored by White Claw.
Damn straight.
There are no laws when you have the claw.
Except when there's a shortage of the claw, like there is now. But don't worry, white girls, it's on its way.
It's on its way. This is week 2, I believe.
3.
And week 2. Week 3. This is week 3.
There you go.
I wasn't counting the one that I wasn't here for.
Yeah.
This is week 3 of the Pokemon Battle League in our GBA trial. With me, as always, is our special guest this week, Dan of the Entai.
Now, when you say special?
I mean it with quotations around it and italics.
Okay.
Because you are doing your best.
I'm just trying so hard, you guys.
Also here is our new mainstay, Zach of the Hoopas. Hello, Zach.
Hello. So you know how last week I said when there's one Zach, you should always expect the other? It's kind of ironic that I just said that last week because my friend is gone.
You're immediately a liar. And
Yeah, I'm immediately a liar.
I can't trust you.
Yeah, you are also a loner. This is also the least amount of people we have had on the podcast to this point. We've whittled down from 5 to 4 to 3, and then next week Dan will be forgotten to be invited, and then I will be monologuing.
Yeah, forgotten in quotation marks.
Yeah. I lost his number on Discord. So we've had some really exciting battles this past week, and I'm very eager to talk about them. I'm also very eager to keep looking at that Squirtle, but I think looking at the battles would be a good start.
Yeah, I was actually just going to leave Squirrel up the entire time.
I think working from okay, here's my hot take. I personally believe that we should work from the top down when looking at this list.
Yeah, that's a pretty hot take, an original one.
That's my hot take.
Is that a hot take?
That's my spicy hot take. That's my claim and hot take here, is that I think we should also read left to right and go top to bottom.
Forget all the other countries that do it differently.
Oh, thank God. So we had Hoopas versus Ludicolo's, and that is the Zach Raoul roommate showdown.
We immediately start with saying there were some close battles to smash, and then immediately start with a 6-1.
There were some close battles, and then there was this battle.
I mean, our battle could have been closer if I hadn't kind of had an idea of exactly what he was going to end up doing.
Yeah.
I spent like 3 entire days figuring out what on my team could take a +2 acrobatics from from a Hawlucha and KO it back after a terrain. And my Florgus filled that role for me this week. I also had defensive Victini again.
I like defensive Victini. I think that's very cool.
Defensive Nike came back this week. But really, this match it seemed like Raul was Jacob Jr., to be honest.
Yes.
He
had
ran
the dual screen.
Yeah, he had dual screens. He did a suicide lead with his Ferrothorn. He told me his Ferrothorn had explosion, which was not Raul's idea, I'm pretty sure.
Now, did he actually get help from Jacob this week?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, yeah, it was very clear looking at the setup.
Wow. Fucking dunk on roll while he's already down. Jesus.
Not dunking on him. I'm saying this looked like a Jacob team.
No, it absolutely was like if Jacob took Raul's team and battled with it.
Okay.
I mean, Raul piloted it himself.
Yeah, he did. He battled right in front of me. I watched him. He even had like Swords Dance Baton Pass on his Gligar, which is exactly what Jacob used on his Gliscor the week before.
That's right.
So it was pretty interesting. But
it seemed less of let me help you build a team and hey, let me give you my team from last week.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was a good plan because like I spent like 3 days thinking what takes a +2 acrobatics after rocks damage, and I think Jacob knew that and told Raul get up rocks, explode, and then try to sweep.
He got close, honestly.
Yeah, I knew for a fact that Florgus was going to live that, but like other things were pretty close. But I felt good about the match, so it's kind of all I have to say about it.
I would say you won 6-1, so
yeah. Toward the end, I was like literally apologizing to him because I was like, I'm securing this 6-1, so I'm bringing my Mega Venusaur in on your Rotom. He's like, no, just kill me, and I was like, I can't sacrifice, I can't risk a crit or anything. I gotta bring Venusaur out. I'm securing this 6-1.
As Raul refuses to talk to you for the rest of the week.
Whatever.
And as cruel as that may feel, I totally get that because differential matters.
Yeah, and I normally don't care about differential, but
I don't care about it for pride. I care about it for playoff standings.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that I care about it for.
So
And speaking of me, it's coming out of my mouth. Let's talk about the next battle going down the list.
Do you want to rephrase that, or?
Speaking of me, coming out of my mouth.
Okay.
Right out of his mouth.
Coming right out of my mouth is my battle against former Commissioner Nick. New hotshot Commissioner Evan takes him on. Although it is very much a commissioner by committee thing.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize it was the Commissioner Showdown.
It was.
It was the battle for who gets to keep Commissioner next season. Evan won, so that means you actually lost.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Can I go back?
You have to do it now.
I don't know if you guys do this, but whenever I get ready for a battle, I choose the most appropriate of my battle musics that I have in game. And for my battle against Nick, I chose Team Skull Admin because I felt like Admin was the closest thing I could get to Commissioner.
There you go.
I normally just pick weird stuff because I get tired of hearing the same 4 tracks on every battle.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys get sick and tired of hearing the championship tune or whatever it's called.
You might want to speak up a bit, Dan. You're pretty quiet right now.
How dare you ask me to change my man?
Anyway.
So yeah, there's my match. And it was a very fun one against Nick. Nick brought some spicy stuff. He sure I'd say he did what you expect Nick's team to do, which is baton pass. And I was able to play around it for the most part. However, he got very close to fully sweeping my team. Now, Zach, did you watch the battle?
I did watch the battle.
Okay, and then Dan, I know you did not.
Yeah. Safest bet you'll ever make in your life.
I really liked his use of passing agility to his Scrafty, who would then Dragon Dance.
Yeah.
That was very good.
I still argue with him about using Intimidate instead of Moxie, but different mentalities.
It was kind of fun because I was able to use my Porygon to trace Intimidate back on him and then recycle that with my Grand Bull.
Mm-hmm.
And that was sort of my key to warding off the Scrafty. My strategy going into the match was his team has glaring weaknesses to bug moves, so let's get a lot of good pivoting, and then I can also bring my Araquanid. His team also has a lot of weakness to flying moves, so let's get some flying coverage in there. And what else is his team weak to? He's got a lot of weaknesses that overlap.
Yeah, he's got a lot of types that overlap.
You really do. And my plan actually worked out pretty well. It was just whittle him down with pivoting and setting up my hazards and my webs. Anytime he would try to clear webs, I'd basically try to cash in for a free KO, and that worked exactly as I planned. Mm-hmm. He brought out his Starmie to clear the webs and the rocks, and I knew he was going to do that, so I was able to OHKO his Starmie when that happened. I did get up webs a second time in the game. Webs didn't make a huge difference in the end, but I think just the idea of having them is always a comfort.
Yeah.
I can't see the team outspeeding.
Yeah. And then in the end, I was just able to clean up. My Gramble, I believe, secured 2 KOs, which I was very happy with.
Mm-hmm.
Gramble actually slaps very hard.
Yeah. I think webs were big in Nick's prep because I was talking to him, and he just kept talking about how he needed a +2. And I kept mentioning to him, like, you don't need a +2 unless you're outspeeding Scarves. Because, like, Scrafty at +1 outspeeds the Kartana. Mm-hmm. And then he said, oh, no, I was thinking of what I need to outspeed things with webs up. So he had it in mind, like, what he needed to do with your webs up all the time.
And that's one thing that I love about just having a reliable web setter. This is also kind of one of the reasons why I think Araquanid is the best web setter that's legal.
Mm-hmm.
Because almost every other web setter can set up webs once and then be a suicide lead or something.
Yeah, pretty much.
Araquanid's just so fucking bulky. That thing's webs up whenever it wants.
He tanked quite a few hits for me.
It's one of those mons where I'm putting up webs. What are you doing about it?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, all around it was a great match. Nick almost set up and swept with the Scrafty. He also almost set up and swept with a Necrozma, which I believe passed a Calm Mind to.
Yeah, Necrozma is great.
Necrozma is great. I think it is very much worth the tier 1 slot.
Yeah, if I didn't get Victini, Necrozma was next on the list for sure.
He was on my board, but not for round 1.
So yeah, it was a pretty good match.
It was a good one.
For the next battle, I just want to start this off with just a quick little Schultzy slurp down real quick.
We have to do it.
In honor of this match.
Because I I know both of these contestants hate the Schultz slip down.
Yeah, I was just gonna say they both despise it, so it's very good for this match.
It's fun that you can say that for almost all of these matchups too.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anyone enjoys the Schultz slip down.
No. So yes, this is Ian versus Zachet, who is not here. He was.
Well, this loss, I mean, kind of killed him. So he's just dead now.
I mean, he did win though.
Yeah, he didn't lose. So I don't.
Yes, Dan has not watched any of these videos. He's here to add the color commentary, I suppose.
I went to the Tribe game, and they have White Claw at the stadium, and I have my membership for life White Claw card, so you better fucking believe I was pounding those bad boys down.
Ooh, quick aside on hard seltzers. I got a Natty Light hard seltzer.
Oh, God.
You betrayed the brand, you son of a bitch.
Listen, I did it for science, and I will say White Claw's better.
There you go.
You're welcome, White Claw.
See?
It's Evan approved.
Yeah, we go out and make sure that we test the competition and tell you that it's shit.
White Claw, we're better than Natty Light.
White Claw, we're better than Four Loko. We feel like we shouldn't have to say that, yet here we are.
So Ian versus Zachet. This was a match.
Very close.
It really came down to the wire. I think one of the big highlight plays in this game, at least from my point of view, was the use of melodic or melodic, however people like to say it.
Yeah.
And Zachet eventually tricking a choice scarf onto it, and Ian not caring, and Ian would just enjoying the
scalds, yeah.
Throw out scalds, yes, because he did do it. He did it in a trick room, like, hey, you're slow now.
Yeah.
But trick room, it only lasts 4 turns, so right away, it's a pretty bulky Pokemon, Milotic.
Yeah.
And within 2 of those turns, I believe it was able to just be the fastest Pokemon again. And it did a lot of damage. It spread around a lot of burns.
Yeah. One thing I kind of questioned myself was how Ian gave up Tangrowth so easily.
Yes.
Because looking at Zachet's team, Tangrowth was really, really good at just walling the majority of his team. But Ian knew that Zachet was going to bring Nature Power on his Camerupt, which would almost one-shot a Milotic on switch in. So
he was trying to, I think, overpredict.
Yeah, I think he just chose. He figured someone was going to go down, and he chose Tangrowth. And I don't know if it was the best choice to let go then.
I think that it was a little too early in the match to be making such a bold prediction. Mm-hmm. Because I don't necessarily think he was just trying to give up Tangrowth. I think he was hoping for a Nature Madness or an Earth Power on a prediction.
Well, no, Tangrowth came in, and then
Tangrowth came in on the
Camerupt.
Okay.
And the Camerupt subbed, and Tangrowth stayed in on the Camerupt and got Fire Blasted.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Because I think he needed to break Camerupt's substitute, so he stayed in and sacrificed his Tangrowth. I think that's what happened.
I believe the Clefairy showed up this week as well, didn't it?
I believe so.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm Baby.
Yeah.
And I believe it. Trying to look back at Ian's team. I watched this match the day it completed.
Yeah, it's been a few days now.
Yeah. So I'm trying to remember exactly. I believe it was the Garchomp that he was using that to wall. One thing that I thought was really cool, Ian used the Endure Salicberry Garchomp to get the speed boost. However, I think he should have also thrown Swords Dance on that set. I think that would have really helped out.
Yeah, I don't...
He said he really wanted, I think, the Poison Jab.
Yeah, and I want to... I mean, if he runs Endure and then Swords Dance, he only gets 2 attacking moves. And I don't know if that's enough coverage to take on everything. Maybe Earthquake and Poison Jab were all he needed, but...
I mean, looking at his team, Earthquake's gonna be gimped for most of the match anyway.
Oh yeah.
Poison Jab hits the fairies. Jirachi's the only one that's like really a problem. Mm-hmm. But at that point, maybe you just hope an Outrage at +2 can dent it, or you've taken out Jirachi before you set up the sweep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I also just want to think like, I guess I never sat down and looked at it, but what does that +1 give Ian? That like a Scarf wouldn't have given him anyway. So
You're able
you
to switch up
you
early.
you sacrifice all the way down to 1 HP and get your +1 speed, but at what cost?
Right, because Garchomp hits really hard, but there are a lot of checks to Garchomp on Zach's team or
Yeah.
Zach's team. Excuse me.
So I don't know. It was a really neat set. I just don't know how appropriate it was. But Ian always does weird stuff.
Yeah, I really just feel like Swords Dance in place of either Earthquake or Dragon Claw or Outrage or something. Getting the Swords Dance in there would have been very important. He needed more power there. The Poison Jab was necessary though.
Yeah, absolutely. But it was a really close match. Probably the best match of the week, to be honest.
I'd agree with that.
Wow, I see how it is. Anyways, on to our Monday night game that is yet to. We're still working on renovations for the stadium here. Make sure we can get everything set for the very first Monday night game here of the PBL.
That's right. Under the lights.
Under the lights.
Very exciting.
See how these teams do under the pressure of the lights.
Yeah.
Now we got
the big TBD facing us of Dunsparce and Stantlers. Have both been very busy people, I think, and now that we have both of them facing off, it's going to be really difficult for them to get that battle in, but hopefully it happens sometime soon.
I heard that there's a chance it could happen tonight, but that's not guaranteed.
Fingers crossed.
Ticket holders for Monday night are going to be very pissed.
That's true, but they do get their refund.
They do.
And that's good for any other Monday night game. We can kind of be speculative about
I
that
was going to
match.
say, if you guys want to take a quick look at the match, I mean, honestly, Matt, their teams match up pretty well on paper.
We kind of looked at it last week. I still kind of stand by, I think Jacob's going to take it. I don't know how much Chris is going to deviate from sets that Jacob can easily expect and plan around. So
Yeah, I think Chris I think your take on Chris's team last week was something to the effect of he uses a lot of very standard sets, but he's a very skilled battler.
yeah.
And I agree with that 100%. And I think that plays right into Jacob's hand because Jacob very much plays off meta and he does a lot of very tricky stuff. So I do expect Jacob to take that match.
Jacob also plays, so this is going to be weird to explain, but Jacob also plays with a lot of respect for the other player. Like, he will predict your prediction. Or he'll, like, when I battled him, he predicted that I was bluffing a Scarf, which was something I was not really going to, like, go out on a limb and do, but he, expected more out of that, I guess. So, yeah, I don't know. So, Chris is someone that will make a lot of those predictions, and I think Jacob might thrive in that. Who knows?
Regardless, it should be a good match. I don't expect it to be very one-sided.
No.
I think it'll be a tough fight. Next, we have the Entei versus the Weedles.
Oh, shit, at me.
You can talk about something with some degree of knowledge now.
Yeah, get up to the mic, Dan, and talk.
I kind of know what happened in this match. Basically, I had a lot of plan for Cheryl's Diancie, her Dragonite, her Superior, and her Volcanion. Now, I want you to take a wild guess. How many of those mobs showed up? Of the four I just named, how many of them showed up?
I'm going to say one, I believe.
One of them showed up.
One
Yeah.
Dragonite.
And I'm kind of just sitting there like, fuck. So the one thing I really didn't expect was diagonal, which wasn't too much of an issue there. That thing led with just dual screens, and I just rock blasted it to death with Gigalith.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had an answer for everything on her team except Quagsire because the thought process was, okay, well, this thing can just get, completely destroyed by Ludicolo. Like a lot of my team can just slap HP Grass on it and take that thing out. So she's probably not going to bring that, and she may as well at that point just bring Fortress as a nice little physical wall. There's no way she's bringing both. She brought both, and I just kind of looked at her entire team when I saw Quagsire there, and I looked at my team like, fuck, I got nothing. And I had to trade Thunderous for Manaphy after I saw a Tail Glow set up. I'm like, nah, we're not playing that. We're not playing. I threw in Thunderous, got a Thunderbolt off, took it down to well enough where Sandstorm and Rocks will kill it. So I was like, whatever, that thing's done. Don't have to worry about that thing anymore. I just I had Nihilego run through specifically EV to get a speed boost off of Beast Boost to make sure that I outsped anything that she may have thrown out there. got the kill on Fortress, got the +1, but at that point, I couldn't do anything to Quagsire. I decided, actually, on the last turn when I realized it was Nihilix Quagsire, I just messaged Cheryl, want to see something stupid? She's like, yeah. And I Z-spited from 20-something HP all the way to back to full HP. And that was my highlight of the game. So, I mean, it was a very close match. It's just I didn't have an answer late game for Quagsire because I just fully did not expect it to show up.
What would have been sick is if, like, somehow she was low on Earthquakes and your Z-Spite took the rest of them away.
Look, I was there for a second there. Your Earthquakes, and I hit Spite. I'm like, hey, it's not gonna matter. It's not gonna matter.
it's okay.
By 4, right?
Yeah, it's by 4.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's for the full HP. It's a rest that you get to keep attacking off of. On a +1, I was very eager to throw that out there.
Yeah, and he got rid of 5 Earthquakes, you know?
Yeah, hey, man. Out of 16, look, man, that's like a 33% win rate. If you think about it, I won that match.
And hey, 33%, you're going to the Hall of Fame if you're playing baseball.
Goddamn straight.
We're going back to these sports percentages.
Sports percentages. This is the sports percentage cast, brought to you by White Claw, of course.
Yeah.
33%, wow. Great in baseball, not so great in football.
I specifically EV'd my Excadrill to tank a +4 superior Leaf Storm and then clap back with Poison Jab or Aerial Ace.
Wow.
I had both on Excadrill. When Virizion came up, I was like, ooh, licking my lips. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna click Aerial Ace and it's gonna take this thing out. She had a berry on it. I'm like,
yep.
Fuck. And I looked at the calc too, and I'm like, Poison Jab kills, but Aerial Ace kills harder.
Yeah, that was a good idea.
I don't know what was going on in that Aerial Ace because that's why it was there.
I may have inadvertently boned you, Dan, because last week I hit that Virizion with an Aerial Ace to kill it.
You bastard!
So that may have conditioned Cheryl to say not again.
Yeah, she told me she'd whatever the electric resistant berry is off of Manaphy at the last second. Yeah, I mean, it was a good match, honestly. Like it was way closer than I kind of expected towards the end. When I saw Thundy go down, I was like, that might be game. And I managed to pull something out of my ass towards the end there. But it was a good game overall, though. I had a lot of fun.
I enjoyed it a lot. It's funny, like, last season, it seemed like our meta was like screens. Everyone saw screens and used it because they're like, man, that looks good. And now it seems like this season, everyone's doing damage reduction berries. Like, there's so many damage reduction berries out of nowhere.
I love the damage reduction berries.
So
if you can predict it, that's huge. I think that is.
Did someone say pluck on every set now?
I want to start seeing the counterplay in this meta. I want to see people running Incinerate.
Dude, I had
Bug Bite.
Yeah, I had Bug Bite on my Scizor. So
yeah. That's honestly like those moves, biggest tick play you could ever make in your game.
It really is. But like, I don't think people would really run it because I mean the damage it's severely lacking unless you have like Technician Bug Bite. And on top of that, like you really have to think that you're gonna like nail a prediction on that.
Yeah, you have to fully predict this person's running a berry and they're going to switch in now. It is the most circumstantial. That's why I never run them. And I honestly don't think I ever will. Those things are just so fucking situational that you may as well slap a better coverage on it.
There's the dream where it works and you feel great, but then it's like, oh, wow, this move did so much less damage than what I could have done instead.
Yeah, exactly. Because they switch into something, they don't even have... Well, I could have just had a better... Fuck.
And you also kind of blow your load because now it's like, oh, I'll never switch a berry thing.
Yeah.
Because I've seen it once.
Exactly. Yeah, like... The problem with some of our matches being recorded there is that all of a sudden someone sees you do something once and then they prepare for it. And you can just never do it again. It's a one-time deal.
Yeah, I try not to do that because I'll just psych myself out.
Yeah. I have a lot of fun sets up my sleeve that I haven't really got to pull off because it's like, okay, I can do this once. And I'm like, when is the perfect time to actually use this? Do I try to save it for playoffs or do I save it for the matchup that works the best for it? And well, the latter answer is the better answer.
Yeah,
you want to just use it the time when you can.
Yeah, just use it for the right time. Don't save it for playoffs, otherwise you'll never use it.
Yeah, I'm not good at waiting to do fun sets. They come out immediately.
I want to do more fun sets. It's just I have to be able to justify that it's also the best set for the week.
Yeah, not fun sets, just for the sake of fun sets.
Buzz for Diancie, I'm so mad.
Anyway,
we can move on.
Yeah, that's enough from Dan's battle, I think. I want to get into this next battle because I am here. I am here to stand in front of this Munchlax and stop all the hate. This Munchlax went in this week.
Yeah.
And I don't want anyone to question Munchlax's pickup anymore. When this
it
Munchlax
ate a Draco Meteor, what was it, +1 or +2?
I think it was ate a +2 Draco Meteor,
and
then Pursuit Trapped a Tier 1 Dragon type Pokemon.
That's fucking crazy. A Munchlax did that.
Yes, exactly.
The hungry boy.
That is, yeah, he was one hungry. Well, sorry, Munchlax is a she.
Oh, I did not see that.
He named it after his little sister. He might have forgotten to gender it. I don't know. That's something Isaiah would do. But yeah, so I love that Munchlax. This battle I looked at pretty closely because I was just like trying to get in Greg's head, I guess, like trying to figure out what he's doing. And one, he didn't bring Megalop at all.
I was gonna say I wouldn't do that too much. You're not gonna Mega Evolve this week.
Yeah, he's like, I didn't forget to Mega Evolve because I didn't bring Lop, and I was like, yeah, what an improvement.
Yeah.
My best mon on my team, I didn't even bring it.
And especially against like Isaiah's Mega Beedrill, Fake Out and a Mega Lot will come out, and a couple Fake Outs will kill the Mega Beedrill.
You say what at that point? It's like 2? Because that thing's defense is just trash.
It's 40. Mega Beedrill's defense is 40.
Yeah, so I'd imagine that maybe 1 or 2 might kill it.
No, it would absolutely 2-hit KO. It does like 55 or something like that. But
at that point, slap Quick Attack on it.
Just looking at, like, I don't think Greg brought any Scarves, and I don't think he brought any Priority, so his only real answer to a Mega Beedrill was just walling it with a Celesteela and slowly chipping it down, which didn't happen.
Okay, yeah. That's not the worst plan ever.
But, you know, every time Celesteela comes out, Beedrill had just U-turned on it and something else comes in. So I don't know if he had the best plan. I asked him if he had Shadow Sneak on his Mimikyu, and he said he had Play Rough instead. And I was thinking, like, you should probably have both of those. So there's some move in there that I don't know what he had, but he decided to sacrifice Shadow Sneak for it. But
well, this is what he gets for not running automatized fully speed Celesteela to outspeed Beedrill.
Guys, PSA, it is autotomize, not automatize.
Well, I play near automata, so I'm calling it what I want to call it.
Okay, go for it. I'm just gonna, I'm putting it out there. It is autotomize.
Autotomize.
Yeah, I think that there's one silver lining for Greg right now.
Is there though?
Yes, there is. There's a very positive silver.
The man. Please tell me the silver lining.
The silver lining is that he can only go up from here. So there's a very good chance he could become most improved player by the end of this season.
Yeah,
the man dropped one of the best mons in the format, Latios, for Kieran Black.
Yes, we're gonna have to talk about that in a moment because holy shit.
We'll come back to that. We'll come back to it. There were some moves this week.
There were a ton of transactions, so I do want to get to that, but we have to talk about this last match.
Yeah,
he can't keep getting away with this. How does he keep winning with Pick-a-Peck?
Jake versus David. Pick-a-Pecks versus Pyros.
My impression with this match was like, I don't know David like you guys do. I don't know how he battles. But to me, it just kind of looked like David was just clicking buttons. Like, he was just kind of letting things go, and just throwing out attacks whenever. Like, it didn't seem like there was a whole lot of planning and thought going around in this battle, to me.
Well, what happened is he saw Pick-a-Peck and just frozen.
Yeah, that might have been the case.
There could be a factor if you see Pick-a-Peck and you're like, oh, this guy's throwing, I don't really need to try that hard.
Yeah.
And then fair, with any coach in our league, Jake's the one where you go, yeah.
But Jake's trying, which is kind of contradictory to the Pick-a-Peck.
Right.
Yeah.
Jake, I think, actually made some very good plays with his Salamence. He did play around a Stone Edge with the Salamence pretty well.
And Jake ran very standard Salamence stuff, which was pretty cool to me. I don't know, like Earthquake. David didn't expect an Earthquake to come out from a Salamence, but it's like Earthquake is a pretty common move to run on a Salamence, especially to attack your specific Pokemon.
Well, that's the thing. If I ever run into a Smogon set in this league format, I'd be a little surprised. Running into just a straight standard Smogon set might actually surprise me a little bit there, because I just don't know. I wouldn't expect it from a certain person.
Yeah. Well, it's not even that it's like a Smogon set. I don't think Jake ran a Smogon set, but you know, Earthquake is a pretty common move.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, so Jake is now 2-1, bringing Pick-a-Peck all 3 weeks. I'm not even sure if he got new mon.
I do not think he's changed. He has not changed anything. I think he's literally brought the same 6 Pokemon.
I swear if he does that again, I'm going to be so pissed at him.
Well, if he does it when I battle him, I know exactly how to prepare, so.
You know exactly the set.
Yeah, I know his entire team sets.
But then you'll see Pick-a-Peck and go, what do I do?
How do I break through the Focus Sash and avoid getting sick?
I will say one thing. See, now there was one thing that it looked like David did prepare for. He brought Rock Blast to just kill the Pick-a-Peck outright in the very beginning.
Right.
To break the sash,
This man did what no one else could do. He broke.
See, that's what happened. David spent all his time preparing for Pick-a-Peck.
He really did. He's like, not only do I know Pick-a-Peck is coming, I'm going to dedicate resources to the Pick-a-Peck.
This is what Pick-a-Peck does to people. Because I respect this. Because if you get killed, if Pick-a-Peck gets a kill on you, that's on you. And you have to live with that.
Yeah, if Pick-a-Peck gets any KOs this season, that is, I think you get a trophy of shame.
Yeah, and you have to play around it to not be known as the guy, haha, you got killed by a Pick-a-Peck.
Yeah, you lost a mon to the Pick-a-Peck. that crit gunk shot killed you.
Hold this L. Hold it.
What an interesting match.
It really was. And I'm happy for Jake actually trying right now, even though he's bringing a terrible Pokemon.
Me too. Like, he brings that terrible Pokemon, but since he has some terrible Pokemon on his team, he has some fantastic Pokemon on his team.
I think he drafted very well.
Yeah, so, I mean, I want to see Solrock still. I'm still waiting, but...
We're still waiting for that Solrock.
Anyway, after we've gone through all those matches, we have our standings up here. Highlighted in yellow is our TBD match. As soon as they have their match, we can figure out where the heck they're going to actually slot in. Because if you look at it, I think it's guaranteed Cheryl is going to drop down to 3rd. Because if either one of them wins, they will have a better differential than her.
Yes.
But, you know, just kind of how things are sitting right now. So,
it's looking pretty interesting right now. Zach, I see that you and I are leading our conferences right now.
Yeah, we're leading by a fairly large margin.
And then Raul and Greg
are not leading by a very large.
Everybody else is kind of in the same ballpark. Nick's got a good diff.
Yeah. I think Nick's differential came off of a big win against Greg.
Yes, that is true. It's hard to put a lot of stake into the standings this early in the season, but because it's a shorter season, this is week 3 of 8. We're almost at the halfway point.
Oh shit!
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So we can kind of take this at. We can actually add more than just a grain of salt to this.
Yeah.
We're almost forced to.
I'm reappropriating a metaphor, I guess, but you get what I'm saying. Yeah, I think that week 3 of 8, this is kind of how the standings are going to be shaking out. There's obviously no one is out of it. Still plenty of time.
Well,
yeah.
Raul and Greg. Well, I think Greg has gotten in his own head quite severely.
Well, he's a tier 1 coach.
Well, he is a tier 1 coach.
He's tier 2.
Tier 2.
Now he's tier 2.
No, he's called himself tier 2, and Evan and Jacob are the only tier 1s.
He was joking when he said that in his defense.
Well, still, he's getting dunked down to hell.
Yeah. Because I see people cite that quite often.
Well, he also has cited that I battled above my weight class because of my Tapu Lele last season. So,
well, I mean, you needed a banned Mon to win. So.
Yeah, I needed a banned Mon to win. Obviously, my Lele is helping me so far this season.
Yeah, dude, it's carrying your ass so far.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, at least in spirit, it's rolled over.
Yeah.
So, like, honestly, I would say I would throw a Barry Bonds-esque asterisk next to his 3-0.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
I'll
plus
lose out the
someone
rest of
like
the season.
Fat asterisk next to it.
Mm-hmm.
The soul of Uno lives on.
Listen, back in season 2, everybody was juicing.
Yeah,
We saw an Ash Greninja win the championship. There was a Mew drafted in round 4.
This guy over here is saying that, hey man, I had Cortana and Ash Greninja on a team. It wasn't that bad. I'm still a 3-peat champion.
And Mew.
And Mew. Yeah, you fucking
Jesus
disgusting.
Christ. I'm glad I wasn't
Yeah.
here for that season.
Yeah, I would not have had fun.
That was my one undefeated season.
That would have been.
Go figure.
Yeah.
Listen, there's no asterisk. I passed the drug tests. Everything was clean.
They only
Yeah.
found traces of Ash Greninja.
Yeah, you couldn't not have to prove anything.
So, one thing I will say, so yes, I think Greg has gotten in his own head. And I think Raul has a little bit as well. But
Mhm.
I think from this point on, Raul might be Padawan to Jacob.
Yeah.
And Jacob might be helping Raul with more matches in the future, and Raul might find some traction with that assistance. I think
that raises Raul's stake a lot.
Yeah, I think so. I think this week was the first week he tried to play Jacob's style, and he doesn't know how to play Jacob's style like Jacob does. So it was a little tougher for him, but he might warm up to it.
As for Greg, I think that we're going to get to transactions next. I think he may have pulled the trigger on these transactions a bit too early in the season, even though we are at 3 out of 8.
Yeah.
Well, you're all fucked now. He has a Moongus.
Well, Mugus is no joke.
So you guys are all fucked now.
Let's go into the transactions.
Well,
Let's break these down.
All
firstly,
fucking
here was everything from last week, so we're just gonna flip between them as we
Yeah.
look at the transactions. So here's our list of transactions. If you want to just kind of go down the list.
We'll go right down the list, starting with Greg, because this is kind of the spicy thing. He's up his second, third, and fourth transaction, and his one all in 1 week. He's really going for broke here. Dropping the Mimikyu for Togekiss in a vacuum. I do think Togekiss is a bit better.
Yeah.
I don't hate the move. I think Mimikyu is actually very solid in tier 2, though.
I think so as well. As a tier 2 pick, I think Mimikyu does work, and I wouldn't be surprised if someone just picked it up soon.
Yeah,
It's-
I do think Togekiss is more versatile, though.
Togekiss is just so fast, can do so many different things that I think it's honestly like I've been shitting on it a bit here, but I think Mimikyu is just such a big dick offensive mon where it's just I'm gonna set up a sword stance. What are you gonna do about it?
Togekiss, you can scarf it and be a degenerate.
Yeah,
You can defog. You can heal Bell. I think it gets Baton Pass.
I believe so.
I know it gets Nasty Plot.
Yeah.
It can do a lot of stuff.
Thunderwave, Air Slash. Shout out to you, Mike.
Yeah. It's all, and also it's got very stats. So I actually really like Togekiss. I think it's a great pickup.
Yeah. I
I'm
think it's
surprised it
pretty
didn't get drafted, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's a tier.
Galvantula?
It is a tier 2. I think that would be the only reason I wouldn't draft it.
I would take it at tier 2. I would consider that. I only had one tier 2 on my roster by the time the draft shook out.
Yeah, most of my team is tier 2.
I have a lot of tier 3s and 4s.
So real quick, I just want to give a can I please get a big fat F in the chat for my boy Galvantula.
Oh,
This man
Rip.
has been trying so hard. He came out of college with so much potential, but just no coach can figure out how to do it right.
These rock slides are killing him.
These rock slides are killing him, and like it's just one of the man. You have so many injuries on your body. At a certain point, you just got to hang up the towel, and it looks like Galvantula may just have to hang it up.
Galvantula has taken so many L's in the past
It
season.
really
and a
has.
half.
He's hanging up those 6 cleats.
Galvantula is an interesting Pokemon because it does literally one thing, but I think it actually does it well enough to
so well.
it does it well enough to find a place on teams.
Mhm.
It's just in our league he has not found a lot of success.
Yeah.
I do think a Moongus is a steal in tier 3 personally.
Yeah, when I was thinking for the long time, the thing was tier 2.
Mhm.
So when I found out it was tier 3, I was honestly very, very surprised.
A bulky sport user with Regenerator, that's all you need, and then the fact that he has utility with Clear Smog and Giga Drain Sludge Bomb. You can even do, this is one of my favorite kind of slightly gimmicky sets, is you run Sludge Bomb with Stomping Tantrum.
Yeah.
Because if a Steel type switches in, or a Poison type, well, it would have to be a Steel type. But if it switches in, you get your Stomping Tantrum, and it can actually hit pretty hard if you build neutral on your attack.
It's a very bulky mon that hits pretty hard, like hard enough for like a defensive mon. It hits pretty hard and it gets regenerated. So I mean,
I love it personally.
Yeah, it's really, really strong.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the pickup. He mentioned needing more bulk to switch into things, and Amogus will give him that.
I think that also is going to help out like a learning curve. I think it's harder to play hyper offense if you have like less experience. I think having more bulk will allow for some more questionable plays, or just it gives you some more breathing room. I think
playing hyper offense in general is just more difficult.
Yeah. Next up, we have this one I do not like. Dropping Latios for Kieran Black.
Is this why you put it in all caps?
Actually, I just copy pasted from him messaging me, and he messaged me in all caps.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
But I also do think it's shocking, freeze shocking even. Folks, Latios is, in my opinion, I know. Latios, I think, is a round 1 tier 1 Pokemon.
That mon is a top 10 pick. I don't care what
I agree.
format that mon is. So the fact that you're dropping it for a mon that is 1, a pain in the ass to gen, and 2, requires a scarf 90% of the time.
I mean, if you can get scenarios where he will, hey, if you get him with sticky webs, oh wait.
No, you don't need to be fast. Sometimes you just scare with your presence and substitute on a switch, and you're smacking something.
Right, you can still wall break. You don't need the speed. You can also pass him speed.
My biggest problem is that it's not his Zmon. If he slapped Z on Kyurem,
oh yeah, that's fair.
I would agree with that pick, but
yeah,
he put it on
but making it Mamoswine, I think, is kind of a bad move.
Yeah,
I think it should have been made Kieran Black.
It's offensive Z, right?
Yeah, it's an offensive Z.
Oh,
I may have to revisit the Z rules actually, because I'm not sure if you can move more than one.
Well, it says you can change your Z captain once in the rules. Is what it says.
I see.
That's all it says. So
that's very ambiguous.
Yeah.
We may need to have like a council discussion on.
Yeah,
in
that's
the
fair.
future.
But Greg is now the team with multiple ice types, so we'll see how that goes. Let's see if our judgment of ice type continues.
Next up, we have Nick making his last 2 transactions. He dropped the meme
for a new meme.
He dropped Mr. Meme for
Rotom meme. Rotom F in the chat.
Listen, I drafted Rotom Fan last season.
Yeah.
With my last pick in the draft.
How often did you put Air Balloon?
He dropped it early, I'm pretty sure.
I did drop it early. But Rotom Fan has some interesting things going for it. It is a budget Rotom that does not have the Ice Weak, which is why he has something over Fridge. You still have a bulky pivot with Will-O-Wisp and Defog, and that's all it has going for it, because you're not going to really give a shit about Air Slash, really.
Yeah.
But
Nick might go for the Flinch packs, because that just seems like the kind of person.
Thunder Wave Air Slash? No, Nick wouldn't do that.
You say that now, but here you go.
Did you guys know that Rotom Fan is sometimes called Rotom Spin?
No, I did not know that.
Dude, Smogon can go fuck itself with stuff like that.
They call it Rotom Spin because Rotom F is already used for Rotom Frost.
Well, Rotom F can just be applied to Rotom Fan and Frost.
Yeah,
both just suck.
Yeah, it's weird. Anyway,
the next move, he did drop Vileplume for Hitmontop. I like this move because he already has a Grass Poison type. So having 2 of those is kind of redundant. Meanwhile, I think that Hitmontop and Scrafty, even though they both have Intimidate, do very different things.
I don't really know that they're that different, to be honest. But, I think Scrafty has more options than Hitmontop does, personally. Hitmontop,
I think, does pretty much the one thing. He rapid spins, and then he's bulky.
Yeah.
And you can run Assault Vest, or you can run some Toxic. He does get, like, the priority Mach Punch.
He gets Bulk Punch, Mach Punch,
yeah,
meanwhile, Scrafty I look at as a bulky thing that can become offensive, and he's not going to be clearing hazards. So I think those are 2 very different roles, and I would be surprised to see either of them come in the same week.
On specific, I agree with you 100%. On a Baton Pass team specifically, they do very different things. Because
Scrafty can do
Scrafty, because you send him a Baton Pass for an agility or a speed boost, anything, completely different mon than him on top.
Yeah, in that case, but I'm saying I other than getting rid of hazards, I feel that Scrafty does the same thing Hitmontop does.
Well, I think that Scrafty is way better offensively, and then getting rid of hazard saying it's only one thing, that's a huge thing, though. That's one of the most important things in a 6v6 Pokemon format.
Yeah.
And Rapid Spin is hard to come by, and it's way better than Defog in most cases.
Also, Hitmontop gets attract, so...
Oh, shit.
Oh, man.
Did not know that.
Yeah, I think when I brought Scrafty 9 times out of 10, it was bulky Assault Vest, and then one time it was a Dragon Dance Sweeper when I had it. So, just personal use.
I would say if you had Baton Pass, that gameplay might have been a little...
Maybe.
Moving on, we are going to talk about some actions, Zach. We have, you have not even brought the Blissey, and we see you dropping it for the Mantine.
That was a great round. Care to explain that one?
I realized that I'm playing the season to have fun, and Blissey's not fun. So
yeah, okay, thank
perfect.
You. Because I honestly, we play each other next week. I looked at your team like, man, I don't want to fucking fight Blissey. I just don't feel like doing this shit.
Yeah, see, I was gonna bring Blissey for you too. I was actually gonna meme and bring an Assault Vest Blissey against you, but I decided not to.
Yeah, I love Mantine as a specially defensive wall.
Yeah. Me too. My team is just loaded with specially defensive walls. So, yeah. I like Mantine. I haven't really used Mantine in a draft league format, so I wanted to use it. It's something new. As for the next pick, Altaria for Audino, I just really hate Altaria.
Oh, you fucked up by not having Cloud9, so... I
brought Altaria, like, begrudgingly once, and it was just a painful experience. I don't like using Altaria.
Yeah, it's not a very good mod.
So I brought Audino. Since I was dropping Blissey, this is my value Blissey in Audino. So whatever.
Overall, that's value pick there is.
Well, short of Jolteon.
Sure.
I think that Audino is actually kind of spicy. It does have Regenerator and Wish.
That thing's annoying. Yep.
Regenerator Wish is a very rare thing to come by. It's supported only by Alamomola and Audino, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a really cool combo.
Yeah, so look out for that.
Yeah, please don't bring it next week.
Finally, we have Ian's move. The Quillfishes are dropping the Arcanine, which I find very surprising, for Alolan Marowak.
I don't really get this one.
I will say this. I think Alolan Marowak is amazing. I actually, in the season that I did go into, drafted him as back when he was OU for a very short period of time.
Really?
I used an OU slot on him because I value him that much. Now he's fallen into RU, and I think he's great there. I think he's solid in the draft league. He's an amazing Coco counter for when you need that. Lightning Rod is awesome. Ghost Immunity is great. Ghost Fire is an amazing stab combo. You can also Will-O-Wisp. You can Stealth Rock. You can Swords Dance. You can, in like a Trick Room setting, you'd be insane. Yeah. All of these things said, though, I think Arcanine is one of the best fire types you can get in a draft league. So I'm very surprised to see that go.
I know what Ian's thinking with this pickup because he spoke with me about it for a little while. But I'm not going to like disclose anything about what he said or anything. He'll show you when he uses it, I think. He'll show people when he uses it.
Sure.
But yeah. I was when he initially mentioned it to me, I personally said I would like Arcanine, but I saw the points he made for why he wanted Marowak. So we'll see what he does with it. I like Arcanine more personally, though.
Yeah, I was saying not to say I think this is a bad pickup there. I just like Arcanine better because I just like the idea of a faster fire type. Because I mean that 45 speed's not good.
Also, Arcanine's a very good boy.
He's
very
the best
good.
Boy.
Yeah.
So
is Suicune, Entei, and Raikou the best dogs?
Shout out to Ian.
So, if we want to move into,
next week.
Yeah, next week. I actually don't have it up, but I do have it right here.
Live on the podcast.
Live on the podcast.
Oh, no.
That's the one thing I forgot to put up. But here's week 4's schedule. So, starting with Stantlers and Caterpies.
Let's do our predictions.
My boy Isaiah will put up a respectable fight, but still lose to Jacob.
I think that Jacob will win this one pretty handily, but I'm excited to see how much Isaiah grows.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the group here. I think just Jacob's team counters it so well.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out Isaiah's next few matches. He has Jacob, then he has Evan, then he has Chris, then he has me. So he's got quite a schedule ahead of him right now.
Put an F in the chat for my boy real quick.
I have a quick question. And I hope this doesn't spoil anything because I don't know the strategies of either Isaiah or Jacob. Would a Trace Gardevoir tracing a Zoroark reveal that it's illusion?
I think it would.
Oh,
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Something to think about.
It has to. It's gonna trace either like even if
it wouldn't trace what's being faked.
Exactly. Like even if it didn't, I don't know how the illusion will work for Gardevoir specifically, but even if you don't trace like whatever ability you were expecting, then you know it's not that Pokemon.
Right.
So
and I actually expect Jacob to anticipate that and maybe not even bring Zoroark for that reason, but who knows? I also think there are a lot of abilities you'd want to trace on Jacob's team.
Yeah, he's a lot of cool abilities.
Trace cannot copy Trace, Forecast, Flower Gift, Multi-Type, Illusion.
So if you can't copy it, then you still know what it is because you get nothing.
Yeah, you still know it's there.
Yeah.
So
and that's all that matters.
Yeah, it's just for scouting.
So yeah, that's interesting.
Should be a fun one. Moving on, we have Weedles versus Ludicolo.
Yep.
My boy Cheryl, I think, is going to take this one.
Yeah, your boy Cheryl looks like a favorite here.
Yeah, I think Cheryl, he gets better every season, and they were pretty good to begin with. So I expect Cheryl to put in the work on Raul. If Raul is going to have any turnaround to a season, it will not be this week.
Raul, I love you, buddy, but it's going to be a not for me this week.
I mean, I'm going to be keeping a close eye on Raul, though, because if he continues to work under Jacob's tutelage, I'd like to see how his playstyle changes.
Yeah, I think Cheryl, having had Tapu Koko the last season, will be familiar with enough with it to be able to have answers for it.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I just want to say, Cheryl had Mega Venusaur a couple seasons ago, and she said she knows that, she had Magearna, sorry. She had Magearna, and she said she knows that Magearna can't do anything to Mega Venusaur. And then Zacier showed her that Magearna can do something to Mega Venusaur. So just because you had it doesn't mean you know everything about it.
That's true. She actually said to me before that match that she was afraid of that obscure psychic move that Magearna can use. And then she's like, I don't think Zacier is going to do it, though. I don't think he would even look at that. She said that to me before that happened.
Wow, to expect Z-Synchronoise is kind of wild.
Yeah. Yeah, so it should be a fun match. I'm in love with Cheryl's team. I think that aside from the Cryogonal, I really like the way that these typings complement each other.
Mm-hmm. She's loaded herself up with 4 times weaknesses, but they cover each other well.
It was prep hell for me week.
Yeah. I like her team. I'm not in love with it, but I like it. Next match is me versus Dan.
Hi.
And I'm just going to throw it out there right now. I am going to predict myself to win because I think I can win this match. But if I'm ever going to lose a match, it's going to be against a weather team. Because I cannot... There's just some part of my brain that cannot fathom weather teams. Playing with them or playing against them. So I just suck against weather. And I never build a team that can take on weather teams, so... It'll be a tough one for me, I think.
You think you know weather? You only adopted it.
So yeah,
molded by it.
That's my
Gen 5 was my home.
It's my 2 cents for that match.
I don't want to get too much into certain strategies or anything with this matchup since you two are both here right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. You can tell him I'm bringing Tristan.
Okay, he is bringing Tristan to hella go with the head smash.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to give the nod to Zach this week.
Yeah, that's fair.
Dan goes, yeah, that's fair.
I mean, whatever. You guys don't like me anyway, so whatever. I think, I have some dirty stuff planned for you, but I feel like you have just the same amount planned for me.
Yeah.
So, I'm confident in my team right now. Looking at it compared to yours, I have run. I think it's going to be a close one. By no means, away with it. But I like my chances I have planned.
I'm telling you, just look out for Toxic Stall. I'm bringing it. Sub-protect Toxic.
If it's one thing that we know I can't counter, it's Toxic Stall.
That's right.
I just don't like playing against it. So that's how you beat me, is you make me not want to have fun.
There you go.
Yep.
Next, we have our cross-division matchup this week. Chris of the Dunspars versus our belt-wearing Zachet of the Porygon Zed. He did receive the belt again after beating Ian.
It's in his hands, so we have to watch that.
Beating a losing team is nowadays.
This is actually a really tough one, but I think Zachet has a team built well around itself, and he'll have something to take on Chris. I think Zachet is going to take it, personally.
I actually feel the other way. I actually like the Dunspars for this matchup. This is kind of a terrain v terrain, so Bulu does sort of have the nod there. Mm-hmm. But I really like the Skarmory for this matchup. And also the Misty Terrain would help against things like the Spore. I do like the Dunspars for this one. That's going to be my prediction.
Fair enough.
It is a very close one here. Honestly, just looking at this here, it really just Tapu to keep their terrain up here. That's going to be such a big element here for them. Mm-hmm. The fact that Zygarde is not going to be affected by the grassy terrain also really helps Chris out here. I'm going to give it to Chris this week, though. I just love his team. I love his tours here.
Zygarde actually can wreck some serious havoc. Also with the Rotom Wash up there.
Yeah, with his 1,000 arrows instead of. Grassy terrain doesn't stop it, so.
Yeah,
that's why that's the biggest thing for me. It's just Zygarde can do so much to Zach's team here.
Well, it depends on if Chris runs a ladder set.
Yeah, but I believe Zygarde. I know Zygarde gets Iron Tail. It might get Poison Jab as well. So the only two things that resist 1,000 arrows are weak to poison. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think Chris's team is still really slow for my liking. So I don't know. Moving on. Typhlosions and Quillfishes.
Ian's got it.
Yeah, I'm just going to go with Ian quickly there. I think Ian was actually already making a team for Greg, and now Greg's, like a quarter of Greg's team has changed, so
yeah,
he's got to do that all again. I think Greg's going to have growing pains. He's going to bring Kyurem Black, and he's going to have to deal with all the dumb stuff you have to do with Kyurem Black.
I wouldn't be surprised if we have a Jenning issue and it's not made.
Well, this one's done by Jacob.
It does.
I mean, when you can't just, like, feed some berries to Lopunny, you can't heart scale things on Kyurem Black. Like, Kyurem Black's so much harder to take care of.
Such a fucking nightmare for Jenning. He's so annoying.
So, yeah. We'll see. I think Greg just needs to be happy with a team and work with it instead of trying to make all these changes, because I think he's making changes before he's even settled into the team he has.
I agree with that. I think that hopefully the things that he has not changed, he'll become more comfortable with and find a way to make work. I don't think this is the week for him, though.
Like Megalot. Please get more comfortable with Megalot.
Yes.
Just fucking Mega Evolve it, goddammit.
Fearos and Sneasels. I'm just going to throw it out to Evan because I don't really know David much, and I know Evan pretty well. So I'm going to give Evan the match.
I'm also going to give it to me. Looking at his team, he does have some major offense. He has some serious threats in the way. The Kecleon, yeah. The Kecleon I'm shaking him for. Oh, I'm just going to obviously Porygon 2 trace the Kecleon, and then I will have that ability.
Ooh, that'd be...
No, I actually don't think I'm going to do that. I don't expect... I'm not going to dedicate... Obviously, this team has insane wall-breaking potential, so it's all going to be a match of how well can I control speed and check the walls and keep my walls safe, or do I instead try to go hyper-offense and just outpace the walls? So that's kind of the decision I have to make, and I haven't really addressed that yet. I haven't taken a hard enough look at it, but it's going to be an exciting match. Tons of power on this team. I think I got to sort of finesse around it.
Yeah.
HP Ice Cortana!
Watch out for it.
Yeah, I think that's kind of all we have to say about that match. And then the final match, Pick-a-Pex versus Scyther. Nick, if you've listened to this 59 minutes and 17 seconds so far, please be prepared for this team. Please. I'm choosing Nick. I think Nick prepares well. He's going to bring Pick-a-Peck more than likely. but don't let that distract you.
Here's what I'm going to say about this matchup. I think Jake is on the right. However, Jake has less game knowledge than the average person in our league, and Nick has a bunch of cheesy bullshit that I guarantee you Jake will not even know what it is.
Yeah.
He will see certain, like, he did not even know what baton pass was until I explained it to him after week 1.
Yeah.
So, like, the learning curve is still very steep for Jake in terms of just game knowledge, and Nick's team is all about obscure stuff that you wouldn't know on first glance of playing competitive Pokemon.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, if
so I'm giving it to Nick, but
if he leads with that Pick-a-Peck and Nick starts setting up and just baton passes it into someone real dangerous, like
it could be a 6-0 in 7 turns.
Yeah, it'd be over real fast.
I like Jake in this one. I'm confident in my boy. He's got it.
I am on the season as a whole. I'm actually very confident with Jake. I just think that this is the worst case scenario right now. How are
playoffs working? Top 4 from each?
Top 4 from each.
Okay. I mean, he might sneak into a playoff spot.
And then we're gonna do battle royale to settle it all out. We each get to bring 3. We get 3 stocks.
Oh, okay.
We'll sell it in Smash.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
You can only use Pokemon Smash characters that are on your team. Shit, who do I have?
No one.
I have no one.
I have Greninja. I win.
Well, that's all the recap for this week and the projections for next week. Do we have anything we want to talk about before we sign off for this week?
Not particularly in my case. I'm good.
Greg, Mega Evolve your fucking Lopunny. Do it. Just do it.
Just fucking do it, man.
Fucking do it.
We'll peer pressure you into doing it.
It's 50% of your fucking screen.
All the cool kids are Mega Evolve days.
Evan's just gonna find Greg and just stand over his shoulder and be like, "Do it."
And stop dying in Minecraft.
And stop dying in Minecraft. With that, I think we're gonna sign off.
Yeah.
See you guys later.
Yeah, let's go play some Minecraft. Bye.